This evening, woman stabbed to death in Sofia. Retired British commando rows across the Atlantic. Community of Services gives back. Opposition leader refuses to meet with the president. In the region, St. Lucia education officials defend ban on corporal punishment. And internationally, no agreement reached as Trump-Kim summit is cut short. Greetings to our viewers in Guyana and around the world. Today is Thursday, February the 28th, 2019, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Next Monday, the Bank of Guyana will release an upgraded version of the $1,000 note. It will contain several new security features to deter counterfeiting. The $1,000 note was first introduced to the public in 1996, while the last set was printed in 2011. The banknote will no longer have the holographic stripe displayed on the front, but will instead feature Crane Currency's rapid micro-optic security thread. The Bank of Guyana is also reminding the public that counterfeiting of bills is a serious criminal offense. The possession of a counterfeit note carries a maximum sentence of 14 years in jail, while the production of counterfeit bills carries a life sentence. To learn more about the new note, visit the Bank of Guyana website at www.bankofguyana.org.gy. Charitable organization Community of Services held a simple handover ceremony in Georgetown today. Bibi Bacchus was there and filed this report.
Today, the Community of Services held a small presentation ceremony at the Georgetown Cricket Club. This was in an effort to recognize Mr. Leslie Black, who was recently awarded the Golden Arrowhead Award by President David Granger.
Mr. Leslie Black, he has been a national sports trainer and coach for many, many years, and he continued to work in there. He's a part of one of the pioneers in the brainchild in the Guyana Community Services, along with Mr. Kumar. And so we want to take this opportunity. We surprised him by right now. He get the Golden Arrowhead Award the other day from the president. So we'd like to recognize him as well.
The Community of Services made a monetary contribution to amputee William France, a veteran marathon runner who is raising money to go to Trinidad to have a cataract surgery on his right eye.
I'd like to say once again, thanks to the organization, Guyana Community Service, for doing their best that they always do.
Alicia Fortune, who is preparing to go to World Masters Athletics Championships indoor in Spain from the 24th of March to the 30th, also received a monetary contribution from champion runner Lorianne Adams on behalf of that organization. The organization also gave back to members of the media in a game in which 3 persons got prizes. The event came to an end with a poem from France.
He said, "Come, let's walk. It's good, it's healthy. You have 2 whole legs, I know you could. Step by step, together, we will walk and we will win. For life is a journey which we all must take one step at a time. One step at a time, one stretch at a time. In the sun, in rain, in agony, we all will feel the pain. But what is pain in our body when there is hope in our hearts? Remember, we are walking for humanity. There could be no false starts."
Headline News, Bibi Bacchus.
Thanks, Bibi. The looming constitutional crisis may be further complicated after opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo declared that he refuses to meet President Granger unless a date for elections is on the agenda. Here's Wendell Jeffrey with more.
What requires discussion is the date for elections. That is what is not on the agenda. And unless that and several other issues are on the agenda, there will be no meeting. The fraud overshadows everything else. It talks about the trustworthiness of this government, that it's prepared to resort to fraudulent behavior, alteration of documents to get its way. How could you engage with a government of that nature in good faith?
It is very obvious that the looming constitutional crisis that was generated as a result of the no confidence motion is getting to the opposition leader Barajak Dio. Today, at his press conference, the opposition leader accused the government of fraud based on a letter that was sent out to the commissioners at the GCOM.
The president had given GCOM instruction to initiate or to start the preparations for general and regional elections. The second letter takes us back to the old arguments about consultations on GCOM's readiness. It's the exact same letter received on the same day, both addressed to the chairman of GCOM. The first paragraph is practically the same in both letters, and then they remove everything to do with the conduct of elections, the role of the National Assembly, the constitutional requirement that was in the first letter. And the second letter, it took us right back to their original argument.
The opposition leader said that there will be no meeting with the president, as the president has invited him to, except and until there's a retraction of these letters.
President Granger himself has to say why he issued two letters to the chairman of GCOM saying which contradict each other. We will not, at this stage, vote with this government to extend the life of the government. We will not vote to extend. What are we voting for? To extend the life of this government so that they can continue to abuse state resources, that they can continue to steal and transfer resources, that they can continue to violate the Constitution, that they can continue to make excuses for not holding elections. That is why I'm going to vote with them for that to happen.
Channel 2 Headline News asked the former president Barajak Dio to give an understanding, to give the Guyanese public an understanding of what are some of the resultant effects of the constitutional crisis that he envisioned is looming, and this is how he answered the question.
What will happen that the government becomes illegal? They cannot conduct any business whatsoever on our behalf that will be legal or legitimate. The cabinet is already resigned. How you don't have a cabinet in the future functioning, the government is illegal, it has implications for all sorts of relations, our border relations, our case at the international court, putting our country at risk for all of these things. Thirdly, the well-being of our people, jobs, investments, etc. And the non-functioning of the state here, practically. And so, huge implications to Guyana, but they don't care. This is a gravy train that a few of them don't want to get off of.
Reporting from outside the opposition's office here on Church Street, Georgetown, Guyana, I am Wendell Jeffrey for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Wendell. When we come back from the break, retired British commando rows across the Atlantic, and woman stabbed to death in Sofia. But first, here are today's foreign currency exchange rates. For the latest in news from Guyana, the region, and beyond, visit our website, headlinenewsguyana.com.
Hello, baby. Yeah.
It's knocked away from Yang Huang.
Yo, why you gotta get away from shit credit, buddy? I recommend that you from blah blah. You actually gain, but it's not you that buy back the credit when it's done. Buy back because she money from 5. Fab 5?
Activate the GTT Fab 5 plan today. For only 5,005, you get free unlimited calls to 4 of your closest family and friends, 5 gigs of data plus 250 text messages, and your Fab 5 friends can call you for free. GTT Fab 5.
Wait. So who we putting as we Fab 5? Yours.
is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go. Welcome back. Last evening, after almost 3 months of rowing across the Atlantic Ocean, former British Commando Richard Allen landed on the Kingston foreshore in Georgetown. Wendell Jeffrey spoke to Allen and tells us more.
The 38-year-old Richard Allen made an historic trip that ended yesterday here in Georgetown, Guyana. He rowed for 2 months as he left the Sierra Leone coast of Africa. Today he met with the press and other guests and spoke of that trip. Why Guyana?
Guyana, well, basically, I had a start point, which is Sierra Leone, a Commonwealth country, and to cross the Atlantic, basically I need another Commonwealth country, and I could have gone to many of the Caribbean islands, but when I was looking at different countries, I come across the Guyana Foundation and the work they was doing, and that was exactly what I was trying to say as well. Not about politics, but people helping people, and that's what the Guyana Foundation do, and that really swung my vote to, rather than go to Barbados or any other area like that, it's like, no, I'm going to go to Guyana.
Any sicknesses while you were rowing for those?
No, none at all. No, it was mainly a point of just keeping the boat in one piece. The last part around South America has been quite dangerous. We've had lots of waves crashing on the boat, smashing equipment. There's bits of the boat broken, safety equipment got ripped off, boat got flipped, and me thrown out, and the boat got tumbled around.
And how you got it flipped back over?
It's self-right. It's designed to kind of tip itself back up. It just, but by the time I managed to get to the surface, the boat was kind of a long way away.
You had to swim to get it.
Fast.
Who built the boat?
It's built in the UK by a company called Rannoch in Essex, in the UK, and that's what they do. They just build these rowing boats. So it's specially designed, and it's been tested, and that's the main thing. Like, if there are accidents and the boat flips upside down, it's designed to kind of tip itself back up, so that's the main thing. As long as it can float, that's I should be safe.
What kind of cost is associated with this trip?
A lot. That's all I'll say. No. Just a lot.
What's the farthest you've rowed before? What caused you to believe you can do this?
Just mental belief. It's just something I was, just something I believe in. I genuinely believe that. In the Commonwealth, and the fact that, again, it's not about politics or politicians, but people. When people come together, the Commonwealth is 2.4 billion of us. Nearly all the countries there and on the other side, and I genuinely believe that it's amazing what can be achieved when people come together. If you just imagine 2.4 billion of us, and that's what I'm saying, and then that was really my belief. I'm no fantastic. I've never rowed before this, so just to kind of let's do this to try and prove, to say, look, I can row this. It sparked all the interest.
You've never rowed? Have you never rowed this far?
No, I've never rowed. I've never
What's your profession?
I work in the oil and gas industry.
As what?
An inspector. I work as an inspector. Yeah. So that's what I do. So I don't row. I don't row in my spare time. It was just a case of I believe in something, and I thought, right, how do I achieve to get this notice, to start telling people that we need to work together to make our lives better.
And so, George, there you have it, a bit of an exclusive interview from Richard Allen himself as he spoke of the trip that he made, a historic trip rowing from the coast there of Sierra Leone all the way to Georgetown, Guyana here, just outside the Marriott, where I'm sitting comfortably aside this boat that is now going to be a part of history. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Tutorial High School on Wolford Avenue in Georgetown recently received a timely and much-needed donation of cricket gear and equipment from Minister of Social Cohesion with responsibility for culture, youth, and sport, Dr. George Norton. The school made a request to the Office of Minister Norton in the quest to secure the much-needed support. Minister Norton responded and collaborated with the Office of the International Cricket Council in Guyana, through which the equipment was sourced. Sophia woman stabbed to death. Esther Sobers spoke to the family and she filed this report.
A crime that was allegedly committed by a jilted man has left a wife and a mother of 5 children dead. 35-year-old Nadina Kalamadin of North Sophia was reportedly stabbed multiple times last evening by a man who family and friends of the victim only knows as Raymond.
The two of them stand up stalking on the landing. She showing action that go your way, go your way. He stand up, he's still talking. She eventually come, she sit down, she talk with me. He come and he sit down next to she tell me, I want this man go along your way, I want this man go along your way. I eventually tell you, Wam, you not go along your way now and leave this girl body.
However, it was at that point that the man reportedly attacked Kalamadin as she left her home to visit her mother's house, which is a short distance away, to check on her children.
The two of them pass and they gone out. She said she going to see what she children doing in front by her mother. So I said, alright. She coming back just now. She said she coming back just now. Next thing I hear the shout, a girl named Lexi run coming panning for breath and say, Nadina just get joke up. She just get joke up. A man just joke shop. From there I leave. I run and I come out. Me and she daughter. I see a pool of blood, clad blood on the ground.
Family members and friends close to the dead woman are infuriated and confused as to the motives of the murder, seeing as they have no knowledge of the woman sharing a relationship with the man.
She have her husband. You never know this man and she's no friend. Likewise, I there wrong. She never see come around. Then when he come around, he might there at the back. But he not gonna come by she. I don't know how we come by she. And he wakes up out your bed.
Kalamadin, who has been married for 9 years, was not known to have been abused by her husband. He was not at home when the incident occurred, as he currently works in the interior.
She was a peacemaker. She was quiet. Everybody has got their own hobby. She got her little hobby. But she was a quiet person, a peacemaking person. Everything. A mother. Her mother, so she turned a friend to me, daughter to me, and everything to me. Oh, she gone.
According to police report, the suspect is 50 years old and has no fixed place of abode. He was allegedly assaulted by public-spirited persons in the community before he was handed over to the police and is currently at the Georgetown Public Hospital under police watch. For Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away. Coming up after the break. St. Lucia education officials defend ban on corporal punishment. And no agreement reached as Trump-Kim summit cut short. But first, here's this week's bridge retraction schedule.
place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Switch over to GTT right now, no. Because all this time and money I waste on a calls alone can just send up my blood pressure.
You've come to the right place. Really? Once you're switched over with our network, you can activate our Fab 5 plan. With our Fab 5 plan, you can enjoy free unlimited calls with 4 family and friends.
You got to be kidding me.
You will also get 5 gigabytes of data with 250 text messages.
You got to be kidding me.
And your chosen 4 can also call you for free.
You got to be kidding me.
Activate the GTT Fab 5 plan today. For only $5,005, you get free unlimited calls to 4 of your closest family and friends, 5 gigs of data plus 250 text messages, and your Fab 5 friends can call you for free. GTT Fab 5.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news from the region. Education officials say the move to abolish corporal punishment in schools in St. Lucia is in keeping with a number of conventions signed between the nation and international agencies like the United Nations. This week, the department announced that corporal punishment will be suspended effective May 1st, 2019 and abolished by May 2020. HTS News Force has more.
As of May 1st, 2019, teachers will not be allowed to physically punish students. A memo signed by the Acting Chief Education Officer, Rufina Charles, dated February 20th, 2019, confirmed that this initial move paves the way for the eventual abolition of corporal punishment in schools.
The United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child, of which St. Lucia is a signatory of that. We have to ensure that we fulfill some of those mandates in terms of violence against children. We also are aware of target 16.2 of the 2013 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which provides an additional imperative for us to also move in the direction of the abolition of corporal punishment.
Charles says the necessary amendments will be made to the Education Act.
We realize that we did not have a policy when it comes to the abolition of corporal punishment, but there were structures in the Act which stipulated how punishment or corporal punishment should be administered. And so in keeping with the rights of the child and all the various conventions that we as a state had signed to and agreed upon, we needed to ensure that we fulfill our mandate to protect our students.
The Department of Education has also embraced the UNICEF-supported Child-Friendly Schools framework in order to tackle violence against children. The policy calls on schools to implement positive behavior management practices. Director of Gender Relations, Janie Joseph, says The move to halt and eventually eliminate physical punishment in schools is a big step in the right direction.
Positive behavior support introduces a concept of discipline at schools that is not punitive in design, but is more holistic because the positive behavior support is school-wide. It means that discipline is a shared goal among staff and students alike, teaching staff, the support staff at the school, parents sometimes also are very much included in there.
The acting chief education officer says many schools have already decided to ban corporal punishment, understanding that students must take an active role in their own discipline. She says the debate on this issue is healthy, but is urging members of the public to listen to the department's rationale for the move. She says St. Lucia is honoring its commitments to protect children. Lizandy Boville, HTS News Force.
And in international news, U.S. President Donald Trump said he had to walk away from the nuclear summit in Vietnam without a deal because he could not meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's demands to lift sanctions. But he put a positive spin on the talks, saying they made good progress towards ridding the Korean peninsula of nuclear weapons, and said Kim had assured him there would be no resumption of missile or nuclear tests. At this stage, there are no plans for a third summit. Al Jazeera's Wayne Hay reports from Hanoi on the summit's abrupt end.
Before this summit, US President Donald Trump tried to lower expectations of a deal with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. But the expectation was, at the very least, that the pair would sign some form of agreement on denuclearization or make a joint statement. Instead, the talks were cut short before lunch. The table was set, but the diners didn't show, leaving Donald Trump to explain why.
Basically, they wanted the sanctions lifted in their entirety, and we couldn't do that. They were willing to denuke a large portion of the areas that we wanted, but we couldn't give up all of the sanctions for that.
The Americans said Kim Jong-un was willing to dismantle his Yongbyon research facility, regarded as the centerpiece of North Korea's nuclear program. In exchange, he wanted all economic sanctions lifted, which was a step too far for the U.S.
Unfortunately, we didn't get all the way. We didn't get to something that ultimately made sense for the United States of America. I think Chairman Kim was hopeful that we would. We asked him to do more. He was unprepared to do that, but I'm still optimistic.
Despite that optimism, this was not how the summit was supposed to go. Earlier on Thursday, there was no sign of trouble ahead. Kim Jong-un, the reclusive leader of a repressive state, even answered questions from reporters, perhaps for the first time.
Chairman Kim, are you ready to denuclearize?
And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, headlinenewsguyana.com. You can also tune in 6:30 tomorrow morning for a rebroadcast and Friday evening at 6 for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from your newscast, saying Thank you for welcoming us into your home, and do have a blessed evening.